The episode starts with a giant turtle monster, akin to Godzilla, attacking what looks like a Japanese city. Some Justice League members are there, and they are fighting the thing. Supergirl shows up in a new fit that has the same look as Superman's fit, and she takes down the monster single-handedly. One of the Justice League members, Stargirl, is noticeably jealous that they did all the work, and she came in at the last second to take all the gratitude. She realizes how much Supergirl is beloved in Japan, as they have a whole convention in her name. They fly back to the base, but their jet is suddenly controlled by outside forces that take them to the center of the Earth. They try to communicate with Martian Manhunter, but they find that there is no connection. Suddenly, some lizard people riding dinosaurs attack them, and Supergirl is shocked to find out that her powers are not fully working. They fight almost everyone off until a huge T-Rex shows up, but gets immediately shot down by a guy calling himself Travis Morgan. Morgan takes them to his tribe in a place called Skartaris. He and his daughter tell the Justice League members that they are in dire need of champions to fight a nasty wizard called Demas, who is trying to take over the world and is after a magical stone deep in the mountains. Meanwhile, we see one of Demas' men try to explain to him what happened, but he kills him without mercy. Demas talks to his advisors, who appear to be members of the Legion of Doom. Morgan takes the Justice League to meet the King of Kiro, because he knows more about the magical stone. He tells them about the power of the stone before showing it to them and revealing that it is a large chunk of kryptonite. Supergirl almost dies from the exposure, but as Stargirl and Green Lantern check on her, Demas ambushes the place. Whatever is left of Morgan and the King of Kiro's army gather and surround the fort, challenging Demas. Everyone attacks, and a huge battle breaks out with the Justice League doing all they can to aid Morgan and the King of Kiro. Supergirl is even doing her best, despite her lack of powers. Silver Banshee, one of the two Legions of Doom villains, shows up and tries to tip the scale of the battle in favor of Demas. Green Lantern silences her ass up and questions her presence. Meanwhile, Demas infiltrates the fort, and Stargirl catches him and starts attacking. She almost has the upper hand, but the other Legion of Doom goon shows up and handles her. Morgan shows up and challenges Demas to a sword duel. As this is happening, Stargirl tries to escape and gets knocked out. Supergirl shows up and tries to play off her lack of powers. The villain doesn't believe her and goes to attack, but she pierces him with a spear, cutting his cyborg hand and taking off. Morgan wins the duel with Demas and breaks his sword off. Demas tries to taunt him and sneaks an attack in, but Morgan is unmoved by his words and allows him to jump to his death like a dumbass, escaping punishment. The villain is running after Supergirl, and she hides somewhere while trying to shoot at him with a gun, but her attacks don't work. She crawls away from him as he taunts her. He then grabs her and is about to kill her for good, but she removes his cyborg battery, leaving him stuck like a statue and an easy target for Stargirl to finish him off. In the aftermath, Morgan and his people are celebrating the defeat of Demas and the liberation of Skartaris. Green Lantern interrogates the two villains about their involvement here and what they need with the kryptonite. The guy broke down and was about to confess the existence of the Legion of Doom, but suddenly, his brain fries and he is left speechless. Morgan thanks the Justice League one last time as they close the portal to the core of the Earth permanently, so no one comes back to steal the kryptonite. The next episode starts with small-time villains meeting at a bar to discuss petty crime and how they have to steal to provide for their families. Captain Boomerang also shows up and joins them in their discussion. They realize they would have so much success if it wasn't for their common arch-nemesis, the Flash. They plan to attack Flash and kill him during the opening of his new museum in the city. We see the Flash finishing up his day job and having a grand old time before taking half the day off and calling the Watchtower so that he continues the day as the Flash. The Flash tries to get Batman and other Justice League members to show up to the opening of his museum, and after pleading for a while and trying to make it look natural, Batman accepts. Flash goes through the city with everyone praising him and calling him awesome, but then suddenly he hears the crying of a child and speeds right to it. Flash finds a kid hiding in an abandoned store, and crying he tries to comfort her, but realizes she is a hologram, and it is a trap.
Admiral, we have enemy ships in Sector 27!
It's a trap!
Disco music starts playing and Mirror Master, one of the villains from the beginning of the episode, greets Flash. He attacks Flash and manages to hurt him while telling him that he could have been safe if he looked the other way every once in a while. Flash turns the music off and destroys the disco ball, leading to Mirror Man fleeing the scene. Flash goes to the ceremony and receives the key to Central City, with everyone praising and applauding him. He gives a small speech, and as he makes his way through the crowd, he gets attacked by boomerangs. He tells the people to take cover and takes care of the exploding boomerangs. Suddenly, a huge jet boomerang captures Flash, and Captain Boomerang taunts him. Flash manages to destroy the circuits of the thing and change its trajectory away from a mountain and onto the ground. Batman and Orion meet Flash, and Batman gives him the deets about his entourage of villains coming up with a plan to kill him today. Batman forces himself onto Flash, goes with him and Orion as he changes before the opening of the museum. Meanwhile, the villains are discussing their pathetic one-on-one face-offs with the Flash, and come to a realization that they need to jump him altogether during the opening of the museum, which should have been their plan from the start, but I guess they are sharing about 2 brain cells between the 4 of them. Batman and Orion are trying to get Flash to take these attempts at his life more seriously, but he thinks they're all bozos, and he will round them up tomorrow anyway. Batman, Flash, and Orion go to the bar where the villains hang out and find the jokester one sitting alone and dejected that they didn't go along with his plans. He tries to attack them, but Batman easily thwarts it. Orion tries to intimidate him, but Flash doesn't like this way of handling things, and instead talks to him like he is an old friend. His way actually works, as he convinces him to get back on the medicine and promises to visit him in the hospital if he tells them about the others' plans. He does, and Flash thanks him, before telling him to turn himself in, after finishing his drink, of course. Hands down funniest interaction in this show. We go to the museum and see how the reporters are fanning over Flash like he is the hottest thing ever. Batman and Orion are staking out the police and waiting for the villains to arrive. Orion takes a glance at the Flash's statue and doesn't understand why the city loves this fool who concerns himself with petty criminals, and Batman confirms to him that indeed, he doesn't have a single clue. Inside the museum, one of the reporters is doing a touch-up of her makeup and mirror master, alongside the other goons enter, using her tiny mirror, and ambush Flash. Batman and Orion see the commotion and enter to help Flash. The reporter lady that was fanning after Flash falls into one of the mirrors, and he goes after her to save her. The villains flee, now that Flash is trapped in the mirror dimension, but Batman manages to hold them off as he sends a signal through a mirror so Flash can see it and get out. Flash manages to escape, help Orion and Batman, and also defeat his villains. The people are sad that their monument to Flash is destroyed, but he doesn't care, and turns the situation around to make them laugh and forget about it. Orion now understands why the people love Flash. Great episodes, and once again, I am happy to have one episode dedicated to how awesome Flash is. This brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this one. Your support helps us grow. And tell me, what do you think of these 2 episodes? Who do you think is the greatest Flash villain? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of them. And if you're watching till now, thank you. I'll see you in another video soon.